I can do this myself.
Rock Auto has the same parts professional mechanics use, many that you can easily install for a fraction of the cost. Do it yourself with Rock Auto.
It's all fun, all hybrid, and all-wheel drive. The all-wheel drive Toyota Camry Hybrid, a well-appointed, stylish hybrid that's all about comfort and all about exceptional driving range. And with special 3.99% financing for 72 months, all about great value. The all-fun, all-wheel drive Camry Hybrid, an all-around great choice. See your New England Toyota dealer, your hybrid all-wheel drive headquarters. Toyota, let's go places.
To win every single day. Today's the day. Let's celebrate. $1 million every year for the rest of my life, and maybe yours too.
Judge Judy never misses a beat.
This is my playpen.
Let me stop you.
Don't stop me ever. Is not an answer. I love this job.
Judge Judy.
Weekdays at 6 on Fox 22.
Welcome back, everyone. As American children face more and more dangers online, House lawmakers are working on legislation to address social media, gaming, and chatbots.
They're at odds, however, over how to protect young users. Fox News correspondent Mark Meredith has more.
As tech companies like Meta and Google face a landmark trial over whether they intentionally designed addictive apps, lawmakers in Washington remain divided over how to rein in big tech.
We're jamming through a package that prioritizes the industry over accountability, that prioritizes industry over our kids.
On Thursday, the House Energy and Commerce Committee debating the Kids Internet and Digital Safety Act, a mashup of a dozen bills aimed at protecting minors online. The package could expand parental controls, punish self-harm content, and require app stores verify ages before certain downloads.
We have to deliver common sense legislation that will survive all of the court challenges that will inevitably come.
Republican lawmakers say it's one of the biggest steps yet to protect younger users who often do not realize the chatbot they're engaging with is not a real person.
There's no one-size-fits-all fix that can help American families navigate the challenges they face in today's digital childhood.
Democrats argue the package before the House is weaker than one by the Senate, which included a duty of care provision shifting responsibility for user safety from parents to tech companies. Democrats also claiming it gives social media platforms loopholes to avoid lawsuits.
That's the way that they'll be incentivized to respond and to do the right thing.
Now, the U.S. is not the only country dealing with these issues. Australia imposed the first social media ban for kids under the age of 16, and we've seen France and Spain follow through with similar measures. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Now let's get a full look at our weather forecast with meteorologist Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have advisories posted. Winter weather advisory up until 1 p.m. on your Saturday for a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow that will be on the way as we head towards your Saturday, as well as a small craft advisory that will drop later on this evening at around 7 p.m. Wave heights are active at around 5 to 8 feet according to the buoys, and that does expand further off towards the north and east, and 3 to 9 wave heights further out towards sea at this moment in time. Now, there is a little bit of snow in the southwestern parts of the state that is tracking off towards the east, not causing us any problems. That will be staying to the south south and west. There's a little bit more activity across parts of the Midwest. But again, we have our turn for precipitation that will be coming up rather soon. So here we go. We're going to get this system out of here. And then here's this next system off toward the west that will be moving in as we head towards your Saturday as a wintry mix at first of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow transitioning to all rain as temperatures warm into the 40s. We'll get this first round out of here. And then here we are by early Sunday morning as all rain with temperatures that will be above freezing. Then we'll get this out of here as we head towards your Sunday. Once we get that round out of here, we're done with the precipitation. Again, a little bit of an icy mess on the way. This is overdoing it. I don't think we'll see that much ice, but we'll see enough ice out there that it will make things a little bit slippery, so we'll need to watch that. We'll see a good amount of rainfall as well. Look at this, around a ½ inch in some areas before we're all finished up. Some other areas, not as much. But otherwise for today, here we go. Upper 30s, mostly cloudy. East wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight, mostly cloudy, areas of dense fog with lows in the mid-20s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, low 40s, a wintry mix switching over to all rain and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Rain chances on Sunday. Also the time change as 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. with highs in the mid-50s. Upper 50s coming up Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Mostly sunny Tuesday. Highs in the low 60s.
America's strength is human, but AI is being designed to replace us, threatening our jobs, our families, and our way of life. Tell your elected officials to support common sense regulation. Make sure AI works for us, not instead of us.
Tired of worrying whether your credit will hold you back from getting a car? At Down East Credit Union, we believe everyone deserves reliable transportation, even with less than perfect credit. Let us guide you every step of the way. If your credit score is under 670 or you've had setbacks like bankruptcy or repossession, that doesn't mean you're out of options. We'll help you get pre-approved, guide you through car shopping, and work with you on a plan to rebuild your credit. Reach out to Down East Credit Union today. Let's get you on the road confidently.
Whether you can pinpoint the problem or can't quite put your finger on it, the friendly professionals from Coastal Auto Parts can help point you in the right direction. With Maine's largest network of parts, you can trust your vehicle will have what it needs to get you to the moments that matter most. Because Napa knows the keys to a winning team. With 30 locations in Maine, Coastal Auto Parts helps keep our communities running with quality parts and helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Coastal Auto Parts is owned and operated by a Maine family that cares.
Come home to the kitchen of your dreams. At Atlantic Designs, we redefine kitchen spaces, turning your dreams into reality. Our experienced designers ensure you get a stunning new kitchen while bringing function and style to every corner. Whether you're on a tight budget or ready to splurge, we've got the perfect plan for you. Your dream kitchen is closer than you think. So contact Atlantic Designs today and start the process. Your dream kitchen awaits with the kitchen people at Atlantic Designs.
AI is being designed to replace American workers. But in America, work is more than just a paycheck. It's pride and purpose. And when real jobs vanish, families and communities get left behind. We should have a say. Protect what's human.
Now to the stepped-up effort to deplete Iran's weapons 7 days into the war. U.S. and Israeli forces pounded more targets in Iran overnight, but U.S. allies in the Middle East are still under fire. A top Iranian general insisting they're prepared for a long-term war. ABC's Marcus Moore has the latest.
Overnight, U.S. Central Command releasing video showing a strike targeting an Iranian drone carrier, part of a broader mission to sink the entire Iranian Navy.
We're now up over 30 ships. And in just the last few hours, we hit an Iranian drone carrier ship, roughly the size of a World War II aircraft carrier.
Video also shows the U.S. striking these hangars at an Iranian airbase. Multiple aircraft were reportedly destroyed. Israel releasing video of this mid-air dogfight over Iran, saying its F-35 shot down an Iranian warplane. ABC News now verifying the U.S. and Israel have damaged or destroyed 13 Iranian missile bases deep underground. Israel claims at least 60% of Iran's missile launchers have now been taken out.
Ballistic missile attacks have decreased by 90% since day one. Drone attacks have decreased by 83% since day one.
But Iran continues to strike across the Middle East. Hotels targeted in Bahrain, where this oil refinery was struck by Iranian missiles. Air defense systems firing, but missing the missiles. Israel and the U.S., meanwhile, say they're moving into a new phase of the war.
As we transition to the next phase of this operation, we will systemically dismantle Iran's missile production capability for the future.
President Trump tells ABC News he wants to make sure a future U.S. president doesn't have to face a hostile Iran, saying, quote, "We don't want some president in 10 years to get stuck with this problem and not know what to do with it." Iran's foreign minister vowing to fight, saying his country is not interested in negotiating. Asked how long this war would last, President Trump saying, quote, "It's over when I want it to be."
Iran is keeping up its attacks across the region. In fact, early this morning, alerts went out warning of incoming missiles and drones here in Doha. Defense officials say Iran targeted the Al Udeid air base once again, and those projectiles were intercepted and no injuries or damage reported. Marcus Moore, ABC News, Doha.
A group of tech investors is suing the Trump administration over its sale of TikTok, claiming they were financially harmed. The lawsuit filed Thursday says President Donald Trump and Attorney General Pam Bondi illegally allowed the sale of TikTok earlier this year. Two investors in Google parent Alphabet and Facebook parent Meta say they suffered financial harm when the administration gave multiple extensions of a deadline to make the sale. The lawsuit argues the administration's approval of the new deal also violated a law requiring TikTok's Chinese-based parent company, ByteDance, to divest from the app or face a ban here in the U.S. The lawsuit also claims Trump's approval of the sale rewards executives in companies with close ties to the president. This is the first legal challenge against that joint venture deal.
Kristi Noem is out as Homeland Security Chief. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has new details about the shakeup.
I'm Kristi Noem.
Sources say the breaking point for President Trump when it came to Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem was this $220 million taxpayer-funded ad campaign featuring Noem galloping near Mount Rushmore. Senator John Kennedy pressed Noem about those ads during a hearing this week.
The president approved ahead of time you spending $220 million running TV ads across the country in which you are featured prominently.
Yes, sir. We went through the legal processes, did it correctly,
Did the president know
worked with
you were going to do
OMB.
this?
Yes.
He did.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Overnight, the president saying, quote, "I spent less money than that to become president. I didn't know about it." The New York Post also reporting Trump was not happy with Noem's answer this week when she was asked about her relationship with her advisor, Corey Lewandowski.
At any time during your tenure as Director of Department of Homeland Security, have you had sexual relations with Corey Lewandowski?
Mr. Chairman, I am shocked that we're going down and peddling tabloid garbage in this committee today.
President Trump praised Noem's work securing the southern border, but she came under fire for claiming that Alex Preddy and Renee Good, two Americans killed by federal agents in Minneapolis, were domestic terrorists. Trump now nominating Oklahoma Senator Markwayne Mullin to take over for Noem. He's a former mixed martial artist and business owner who's also a member of the Cherokee Nation. Mullin is already trying to bridge the gap, telling our Rachel Scott that Kristi Noem is his friend.
She was tasked to do a very difficult job, and I think she has performed the best she can do.
And President Trump is not firing Noem. He's now appointing her special envoy for a new security initiative in the Western Hemisphere involving a coalition of Latin American countries. Nicole D'Antonio, ABC News, Washington.
Coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll be joined by the Bangor Symphony Orchestra to hear about a bunch of upcoming events.
Sounds like a lot of fun, too. The details when we come back.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
When you put that jersey on, something comes over you.
Welcome to the World Baseball Classic. Bryce Harper, Paul Skeens, Cal Raleigh, Aaron Judge. Absolute
World Baseball Classic. Team USA takes on Brazil, only on Fox.
The Farmer's Table in Corinna brings you outstanding breakfasts, lunches, and dinners made from farm-grown fresh ingredients. Dinner specials are available every day. Enjoy our homemade desserts, and above all, bring your appetite to the Farmer's Table in Corinna.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Friday, March 6th, 2026. This is also National Unplugging Day.
Many of us tend to miss out on meaningful moments when we spend countless hours with our faces buried in our cell phones. This day encourages us to unplug from our phones and other electronics for the day. The hope is people will make real connections, visit the outdoors, or simply relax with those we love.
It's a bad habit, and I have it too sometimes.
I do too. I think now too everyone has, cell phone, iPad, laptop, computer, so it's kind of everywhere.
Yeah, I challenge myself sometimes. I try to, just leave my cell phone down.
Yeah.
People get mad at me because then they can't get in touch with me, but I'll put it away for a few hours, or if I'm going out to a restaurant, leave it in the car.
Yeah.
That way you don't get distracted and that kind of thing.
All good tips.
You have to retrain yourself.
Yes.
All right, time for history. It was on this day back in 1820, President James Monroe signed the Missouri Compromise, which allowed Missouri to join the Union as a slave state and Maine to join as a free state that year. In 1857, the U.S. Supreme Court issued its infamous Dred Scott decision. It ruled that an enslaved person named Dred Scott could not sue for his freedom in federal court because he wasn't a U.S. citizen. It also ruled that slavery could not be banned from any federal territory, which helped to deepen the divide that ultimately led to the Civil War. In 1899, on this date, Bayer received a patent for aspirin, and in 1912, Oreo cookies were first introduced by the National Biscuit Company, which is now known as Nabisco. I didn't realize Oreos had been around that long.
No, I didn't either. It's National Oreo Day today, too. Is that right?
Yeah, National Oreo Day.
And in 1951, the trial of Julius and Ethel Rosenberg began in New York. They were both convicted of spying for the Soviet Union and were executed in 1953. In 1970 on this date, the Beatles released their single, Let It Be, which quickly found its way to #1. And in 1981, famous news anchor Walter Cronkite signed off for the last time after nearly 20 years as anchor for the CBS Evening News. And in 2009, NASA's Kepler Space Telescope was sent into space to hunt for Earth-sized planets orbiting distant stars. It discovered more than 2,600 exoplanets outside of our solar system before it ran low on fuel and then was retired 9.5 years later.
Who knows? Maybe on one of those planets there will be
so interesting
some beings out there watching us on TV.
They could be.
Probably not. All right, time for birthdays. Today's birthdays include basketball superstar Shaquille O'Neal, who is 54 today. Actress Connie Britton turns 59. And classic rocker David Gilmour from Pink Floyd turns 80 years old today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today. I'd love to see David Gilmour perform sometime.
Yeah.
I've seen tons of videos. He's just a fantastic
really
guitarist.
Good.
But yeah.
Very talented. Yeah. We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Friday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winter weather advisory that is up until Saturday at around 1 p.m. There it is right there, as well as a small craft advisory posted until 7 p.m. this evening. We're watching for some wintry weather as well as some high surf that will be coming up. In the meantime, there's some snow in the southwestern parts of the state that will be leaving us alone. We will be watching for a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow that will be moving in with another system that will be coming up. In the meantime, this thing will not be causing us any problems. But again, that next system will be approaching soon. We will be under a mostly cloudy sky today. Some fog moves in tonight, there's that system Saturday morning that will start off as a wintry mix, transitioning to rain as we head towards Saturday afternoon as temperatures warm. But in the meantime, gusty winds along the coast this morning that will continue through the afternoon, and then everybody gets involved with the gusty winds as we head towards your Saturday. Your hourly forecast moving forward. Again, we'll have clouds today with temperatures overall in the 30s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa.
Thank you, Devin. Still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
Don't go away.
Rebound and recover with the Planet Fitness Blackhorn. Join now and unlock recovery amenities like red light. Incredible!
Get the PF Black Card for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends March 13th.
A sharp pain in his chest. He knew it was his heart, but 2 hours from the big city hospital could tragically mean the end. But it wasn't. Thanks to Senator Susan Collins' tireless fight for Maine's rural hospitals. Because of Senator Collins' work, his local hospital had recently received up-to-date diagnostic equipment and upgraded facilities, all paid for with new federal funding. Lives are being saved. Call and thank our Senator Susan Collins for delivering this lifeline for Maine.
John Brown first opened his own appliance store in Ellsworth in 1976. With his gift of storytelling, a strong work ethic, and a philosophy of putting others first, John and his wife and children saw the business prosper and grow. Today's 3rd and 4th generation of family and their entire team continue to follow the example set by their grandparents and parents. Brown Appliance and Mattress, High Street, Ellsworth, a family tradition of quality, value, and customer service that always puts you first.
Think you're good at trivia? Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Congratulations, you have built the perfect line. I'm Deborah Norville, and this is the perfect line.
Onion rings before, in between onion rings and pizza.
Definitely after. Oh, this is what happy looks like.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
Rebound and recover with the Planet Fitness Blackhorn. Join now and unlock recovery amenities like red light. Incredible!
Get the PF Black Card for $1 down, $24.99 a month, and get your first month free. No commitment. Deal ends March 13th.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back in, folks. We start with a big game in Orono as the America East Women's Basketball Tournament kicked off. And it was a border battle in the first round. Number 7 UNH visiting number 2 Maine. Black Bears won both regular season meetings. We picked up in the first. It's Lala Wood. She knocks down the corner 3 to grow Maine's lead. A few possessions later, it's Woods again. This time from the top of the key, it's good again. Maine up 15-11. End of the first, it's Elizabeth Lavoie going to work in the post for the Wildcats. She gets it to fall. Maine up 18-17 after 1, but they take full control in the second. It's another 3, but this time from Sarah Talon. She added 16. Then it's the player of the year, Adriana Smith. She hits the mid-range jumper as Maine scored 28 points in the second quarter. Then second half now, it's Smith again. She dishes to Woods, who gives it right back. Smith scored 35 points in this contest to go along with 15 rebounds, but she was talking about defense after the game.
I think just our intensity, like our defensive intensity, I think that's what really carries our team and allows us to be like a great team. You know, defense wins championships, and that's what we're trying to do. So focusing on that is really big for us, and I think that's what made the difference this game.
Now over to the NBA, where the Celtics suffered a tough loss to the Charlotte Hornets at home on Wednesday night. The Celtics have been on a roll as of late, but a bump in the road came on Wednesday when the Hornets came into TD Garden and handily beat Boston 118-89. While the Hornets didn't have a player that dominated the scoring department, several players stepped up big and contributed to the win. Jaylen Brown says the team's Wednesday woes stem from poor defense and his inability to finish buckets at the rim.
No, I had a lot of great shots at the rim. I had a lot of great shots at the rim to start. Just didn't go down, and I got to be better. You know, at the rim, I got to put my team in a better position, especially to start the game. I missed a lot of easy ones at the rim, and then that led to our defense a little bit.
Celtics fans try and stay calm, but superstar Jason Tatum's status has been elevated to questionable for Boston's game against Dallas on Friday. If he does return, it will be just 10 months removed from a season-ending Achilles tear that left most fans and doctors thinking he would not play this season at all. I'll be in Boston to cover the game on Friday as Cooper Flagg is making his return to New England. And speaking of Flagg, he returned to the lineup on Thursday night, scoring 18 points at a loss to the Magic. He's also questionable for Friday night's game in Boston. What a night at TD Garden. That could shape up to be a Tatum return and Flagg return. That's unbelievable. You can't draw it up better than that. Well, the Hamden Academy boys hockey team just won the Class B North title for the first time in 2 years. Our Max Sturm caught up with the Broncos after their historic night.
The last time the Hamden Academy boys hockey team won the Class B North, their current players weren't even born yet. The Broncos last won the regional title in 2003, 23 years ago. But on Wednesday night, that time was reset to 0 days.
I mean, it's amazing. I wasn't even born yet last time they won it and everything, so it's just like a great feeling. I don't really know how to explain it.
This means so much for me, so much for our team. You know, we've been looking at it the entire season. It's always been our goal to get here at the end of the season, right? It's been, like you said, 23 years. This is the most amazing thing that could happen for our program. We're just so pumped.
The win did not come easy for the Broncos. In fact, the game took 3 overtime periods to decide a winner. Being asked to give almost an entire second game of effort in such a physically demanding sport can be a lot. But the Broncos say all they needed to make it through was the belief in their squad.
You know, in a long game like this, I'm getting tired, obviously, but, you know, I just got to have faith in my team, my defense in front of me. You know, they kept me in it that whole game.
I mean, we've been here 2 or 3 times this year, overtimes against Camden Hills, Messalonski twice. I mean, we've learned from all of our mistakes and all of our losses, and, I mean, our captains really lead us through it.
Sophomore Wyatt Allen was the hero for the Broncos in triple overtime, collecting the loose puck in front of the net and tapping it in for Broncos history.
I couldn't have done it without my teammates. I mean, everything they did this year, everything we've worked for, Henry Armel, Aiden, all of our seniors, our captains led us to this point.
He tapped it in, and I was just like, there's no way we just won. I thought that game's gonna go on forever, but when I saw that goal in the arm get pointed, you know, I lost it. I was just overjoyed.
The Broncos will now face York Biddeford Old Orchard Beach in the state title game on Saturday. In Orono, Max Sturm, ABC 7 in Fox 22 Sports.
Thank you for that, Max, and congrats to the Broncos. Good luck this weekend. That's all the time we have for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
ABC 7, Fox 22. The place we call home, telling Maine stories wherever you roam. From sunrise shores to forests of pine, hard work, strong hearts, values that shine. From old towns to harbors, back roads to ocean blue. Neighbors helping neighbors in all that we do. Through storms and clear skies, day after day, we're here with the stories that matter in Maine.
Blazing Trails, located in Lincoln, is your #1 trusted caregiver storefront. From personalized consultations to the highest quality product, Blazing Trails provides outstanding patient services to Eastern and Central Maine. Discover how we're blazing the trails to quality holistic medicine.
Welcome back, everyone. We're always happy to have Maestro Lucas Richmond join us here from the Bangor Symphony Orchestra. It's good to see you. It's been a little while.
I know, but great to see you, Craig.
Whenever you come here, though, there's always something exciting to promote and talk about, and you're getting ready for your annual soiree?
Yes. The Symphony Soiree, it's been going on for over 15 years, and this year we're going to be at the Cross Insurance Center, and it's coming up on March 14th. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have our silent auction and the live auction, great stuff. But it's all in benefit of the orchestra, supporting the orchestra's performances, and a big part of it is our youth orchestra, the Bangor Symphony Youth Orchestras. We've got 5 ensembles now playing music, and these are really the musicians of the next generation.
Right.
So and we'll have some members of the youth orchestra playing at the event. Also, I'm so excited because Lindsay Alley will be with us. She is one of the musketeers from the early 90s with, along with Justin Timberlake and
Britney Spears
and Christina Aguilera. They won't be here, but Lindsay will be with us, and she is fabulous. She's a great performer and funny. So we're going to have a great evening.
This is neat. And I don't know if a lot of people realize the Bangor Symphony Orchestra, they do more than perform. You are trying to inspire the next generation of musician, I should say. Yes. But it takes money to do some of these programs.
Absolutely. And I'm one of the things that I love about this city and the orchestra is that we are in our 130th season, and that speaks to the fact that the community has really gotten behind, and it's not just one donor, but in fact, so many people are invested in this organization. Right. And it really comes to, we can really see that at the soiree, the kind of energy.
Well, again, that's happening on the 14th at the Cross Center.
Right.
And it's on the Bangor Symphony Orchestra's website, too. If you want to learn more about that, you can go right there.
BangorSymphony.org.
That's right. And that's not all. You guys also have a big performance coming up at the Collins Center soon.
I know. As we watch the snow hopefully melt.
Yes.
We're getting into spring, and we have the Rite of Spring, Stravinsky's incredible a controversial masterpiece. I don't know if you know, but at the premiere, it actually caused a riot.
Really?
Because of the music and the dancing. We don't expect any tomatoes to be thrown this time, but no, it's an extraordinary music. And then music of Rimsky-Korsakov, Lily Boulanger and Cécile Chaminade, 2 female composers. Incredible music. So it's really an orchestral showcase showing off the orchestra and what we can do.
And when's that happening?
That is on March 22nd, Sunday, March 22nd, at 3 o'clock at the Collins Center for the Arts.
It's just magic. That's the good thing about music too. All kinds of music. It makes you feel something.
Yeah.
It can lift your spirits or make you feel the opposite too.
Oh, absolutely. And we've got a huge orchestra on stage. So this is, if you haven't been to the orchestra before, this is one that will make your hair,
Right. Yeah. All right. One more quick thing to note too. You have a part in an upcoming movie. You helped write some music for it, right?
Right. Well, I conducted the score for. I conduct film scores, and my most recent one was for the Bride, the music by Hildur Gudnadottir, that is coming out. This stars Christian Bale and Jessie Buckley.
Yeah.
So you'll see my name on the screen.
That's fantastic.
Conductor for the score. It's really, it's a great movie and a wonderful score.
Well, you're a busy guy. I don't know how you do it, but it's very neat.
Well, I'm very grateful that I have made my life in music, and I'm so happy about it.
Well, you keep on doing it, and you're welcome to come back here anytime. Just keep it up. I think it's great for the culture of the region here, and we'd love to help you promote it anytime we can.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Lucas. All right, we're going to send it back over to Devin now for a final look at that forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Alrighty, here we go. We have advisories posted. Winter weather advisory up until 1 p.m. on your Saturday for a wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow that will be on the way as we head towards your Saturday, as well as a small craft advisory that will drop later on this evening at around 7 p.m. Wave heights are active at around 5 to 8 feet according to the buoys, and that does expand further off towards the north and east, and 3 to 9 wave heights further out towards sea at this moment in time. Now, there is a little bit of snow in the southwestern parts of the state that is tracking off towards the east, not causing us any problems. That will be staying to the south and west. There's a little bit more activity across parts of the Midwest, but again, we have our turn for precipitation that will be coming up rather soon. So here we go. We're going to get this system out of here, and then here's this next system off toward the west that will be moving in as we head towards your Saturday as a wintry mix at first of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow, transitioning to all rain as temperatures warm into the 40s. We'll get this first round out of here, and then here we are by early Sunday morning as all rain with temperatures that will be above freezing. Then we'll get this out of here as we head towards your Sunday. Once we get that round out of here, we're done with the precipitation. Again, a little bit of an icy mess on the way. This is overdoing it. I don't think we'll see that much ice, but we'll see enough ice out there that it will make things a little bit slippery, so we'll need to watch that. We'll see a good amount of rainfall as well. Look at this, around a ½ inch in some areas before we're all finished up. Some other areas, not as much. But otherwise, for today, here we go. Upper 30s, mostly cloudy. East wind at around 5 miles per hour. Overnight, mostly cloudy. Areas of dense fog with lows in the mid-20s and the wind overall looking nice and calm. Tomorrow, low 40s. A wintry mix switching over to all rain and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Rain chances on Sunday. Also the time change as 2 a.m. becomes 3 a.m. with highs in the mid-50s. Upper 50s coming up Monday under a partly cloudy sky. Mostly sunny Tuesday. Highs in the low 60s.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
Craving something delicious? Welcome to High Street Market, located at 167 Enfield Road in Lincoln. Breakfast options? Grab a cup of coffee and try one of our sandwiches or burritos. When breakfast is over, we're just getting started. Pizza, subs, burgers, and pastries. Come get lost in Danny's Beer Cave. Order online and save 10% off your first order. High Street Market, where your taste buds go to party.
Meet the toughest team in the game. Bad Boy Mowers and Bad Boy Tractors. These powerhouses will do whatever it takes to win. Putting in the work with unrivaled engineering. Game-changing features like heated seats and an Alpine entertainment system. Plus durable implements and style that's in a league of its own. Bad Boy Mowers and Tractors. Power, performance, attitude.
There are so many fun things to do in Maine. Now you can enjoy more for less. Check out half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Unwind with a massage. Let me take away the stress of everyday life and allow you to fully relax. I offer Swedish, deep tissue, and prenatal massage. Healing Strength Massage in Bangor is your place for relaxing therapeutic massage.
There's a limited supply available. It's on sale right now. Save with half-off deals from foxbangor.com.
Purple Coat Bangor is open and ready for business. Jump into the best products, pricing, and customer service in town. Join a growing community with monthly events, art and music nights, daily specials, and plenty of good vibes. Located at 431 Audlin Road, right off of 395. Stop by and check us out today.
A new recruit joins
the North Dakota Highway Patrol, and he's already a very good boy. It's Bo, a 12-week-old bloodhound puppy. Bo's been brought in to help ease the demand on difficult missing persons and criminal suspect cases across the upper Midwest. While drones are used to help in those searches, bloodhounds with more than 300 million scent receptors are a proven low-tech solution.
He'll be starting searching here pretty quickly here. We'll start little trails and stuff when we're training. He won't be ready to do a full track or a cert track until he's about 9 months old. Is the earliest we will be able to get him to do tracking.
Highway Patrol has used bloodhounds to assist officers for the past 14 years, and they have become social media stars for the agency.
Now they have a new one, a cute little puppy.
So cute.
Yeah. Well, as temperatures continue to rise, things will start to bloom, from plants to flowers, even bees. Professionals say the hotter conditions are just perfect for insects to start a new colony. And they say in this time, a colony hatches a new queen. The new queen's jealous, so she kicks out the old queen, which prompts all the bees in the colony to move. They say these animals are not intending to attack anyone around them, but only looking for their new home. Experts say although most bees are not dangerous, a certain percentage are Africanized, which is a hybrid of European and African honeybees that are extremely aggressive and will sting people if you come too close to them. So you should keep a distance from about 20 to 30 feet away at least.
No.
Still got a little time to worry about that
Definitely.
around here.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning, but as always, we thank you for joining us.
Have a great weekend, everyone.
Today on 25 Words or Less, you know him as the host of American Ninja Warrior, a job that could be done by anyone capable of yelling, "Ooh!" It's Matt Eisman. And joining Matt are sisters Lexi and Nikki. I don't have a bad word to say about his new HBO show, Duster, because just like everyone else, I haven't watched it. It's Greg Grunberg. And joining him are our returning champions, gym buddies Pierre and Kirsten. And now here's your host. She also hasn't seen Duster. It's Meredith Vieira.